Hello, class information 5000. This lecture will cover an introduction about classification schemes, the major classification schemes. Actually, this lecture was used in my information organization class a few years ago. So um, I try to reduce the length of the lectures, but still a little bit in detail. But you can scan through the major classification schemes that the Rubin textbook also covered. Okay.
There are two approaches present in classification schemes. One is enumerative and faceted. Traditionally, classification schemes follow the classical classification approach applied by Aristotle of dividing the world of knowledge into categories or classes, and these classes were then also divided into subclasses like divisions, and further subdivision into sections. So this top-down, also the deductive approach, resulted in an enumerative scheme that attempts to represent the world of knowledge within its class structure. So both DDC and LCC schemes are enumerative. Contrary to this, by contrast, uh, faceted classification schemes such as the colon classification scheme or the art architectural thesaurus, which also can be used for classification purposes, employ a bottom-up inductive approach to classification. So the enumerative approaches, the subject and their relationships are prearranged in hierarchical classes and subclasses. And the classifications consist of identifying location of each item in scheme. And notation for each class is predetermined. The DDC was first published in 1878 by Mabel Dewey. Today, the copyright for the DDC is held by OCLC, Online Computer Library Center, but it continued to be updated by the Decimal Classification Editorial Policy Committee at the Library of Congress. The DDC is published in both a print and an online version and is continually updated to reflect the changes of the world of knowledge. In the DDC, currently it has 4 volumes and one the relative index, and its notation is pure that we discussed in previous lectures, right? It's a pure and simple decimal expansible system. Currently it's used for like school, public or small academic libraries. Let me see. Okay, let's take a look at the example. Maybe the next slide. Advantages using NTDC is widely accepted and it's updated frequently, and it's rather compact than other classification rules and schedules, and easy to use for some expert, I guess. But basically, actually, this is very systematic because it's decimal, so I think it's easy to use. Some of the disadvantages is the arbitrary division by tens. Yeah, it's just decimal, it's just tens. And also it's the disadvantage, one of the disadvantages of DDC is tendency toward the long notation, right? If you have more, uh, you need to more classify some categories or some subject. It has long notation. It's also American orientation. So as I mentioned like few weeks ago, in Korea we have a Korean decimal classification system. We have to have our own system because the current the DDC has American oriented languages, the vocabularies. Try to visit to these links, DOE service via CRC, and also the new edition of DDC. Right now it's the 23rd edition of DDC. Okay, let's take a look some examples. In the DDC, basic classes are organized by disciplines or field of study. It is divided into 10 main classes, which together cover the entire world of knowledge. And then each main class is further divided into 10 divisions, and each division into 10 sections. Okay. Again, each main class, like a 000, 100, 200, 300, that includes 10 divisions, which result in 100 divisions. So, for example, the divisions under the 600 class has like 600, 610, 620, 630, etc. Right? So, and then each division in turn can be further subdivided into 10 sections, so resulting in 1000 sections. So for example, these are the sections in the 630 division. So if you want to classify dogs and cats, you have to go under 630 and then 636, and then the dogs 636.7, cats 636.8. Okay. LCC began publication in 1898 and was mostly complete by 1910. The scheme contains 21 main classes that are published in over 50 volumes. The LCC is published both in print format and in an online version, available through the Library of Congress's subscription-based service classification web. LCC was primarily developed to classify the Library of Congress collection, but its popularity has grown and it's used in many large academic and research libraries. And so basically the LCC is clearly tailored to the need of Library of Congress collection, and also the classes are divided in broadly hierarchical manner with a little consistent application of either hierarchies or a facet structure, even within the single classes. So it's currently it's medium to large academic libraries, and it doesn't have a comprehensive index. However, the LCSH substitute to some extent indexes in individual schedules. The notation is mixed with some decimal expansible system possible. So the IRCC has advantage of widely accepted and it's a specific and relatively short notation, and it has been updated constantly. This advantage is having like lack of comprehensive index and also some inconsistencies among schedules, and it's bulky and a little bit difficult to use. The Try to visit these two links, and also let's take a look a little bit example of LCC. Uh, when you visit this website, you can see the 21 main classes, and then you can click the link. Then you can see uh, the uh, subclasses and also subdivisions. Okay, let's take a look the subclass about the Q, the science. Okay, so pretend to click the Q, the science part. When you click that link, it provides you the subdivisions, which allows the LCC to provide more specific and the coverage of subject area. And although it doesn't have the index, I mean the relative index like DDC, because it provides the subdivision. So it provides you some specific and enumerative coverage of subject area, which actually better coverage than DDC, because DDC only have like a 10 digit of rigid structure. So for example, the under the Q class for science, subclasses include the like following page, as you can see, right? Uh, let's take a look. I think I tried the zoology. Let's look at the zoology subclass QL, which is the next page. Then it provides the structure of the zoology. Okay, so it's on the same page. You can just scroll down. I mean, at the link, you click the Q, and then it provides you the science. And then if you scroll down, you can reach this page. I mean, the previous slides link. Okay, so it provides more the structure sub the structure under the QL. Let's take a look at faceted approaches. In this classification, potential facets for subject classes are predetermined, but classes and subclasses are not prearranged. Okay, we will be taking a look at we will be seeing the example soon. Classification consists of identifying each facet applicable to an item. Notation is synthesized by drawing together notation from different facets. This is an example of faceted approaches. As you can see, the potential facets for subject class are already predetermined, like numbering 1 to 8, and then the foci with A, C, E, G. Under that, it's language, form, period, and theme. So these are the predetermined, but subclass and division are not prearranged. So if we need to classify subject area of the collection of 19th century French literature, let's start with A, language, it's French, right? So it's under A and 7, right? So A7, and next to form. Since it doesn't say which form, so you may just skip. And by the way, this rule is not like decided by decided by someone else. It's just it's pretending right now, because if we decide use this facet, then we use like this. So this is an example. So there's no form to mention there. So next to skip to next one is it's a period. It says 19th century. So 19th century is under E and number 7. So it goes E7. So we can notate as A7 E7, right? And then modern American essays, politics. So let's see the language first. Then it's American, so it's gonna be 1, right? So A1, and then next form. What form is? It says essays, so essays 5, right? So C5. The next period, it says modern, so it's a modern can be like 20th century, right? So we can put it as E8. And then what theme is? It says politics, so we can politics on the 3, so it's under G, so G3. So it's pretty easy, right, if you decide how to make it. um, so it depends on, right? So you may try the next two ones if you want. Okay. Colon classification is a faceted classification scheme developed by Ranganathan and published in 1933. The sixth edition was published in 1963 and represented Ranganathan's continued refinement of the original scheme. Each class is broken down into its basic elements based on specific class characteristics called the facets. This is rarely used currently, but as an inspiration for development of all schemes since then. There is one volume containing many schedules. It has Ranganathan actually identified 5 fundamental categories referred as PMEST. We'll be discussing the next slide. The index is included in a single volume. In notation is mixed, and it's note for use of punctuation as colon, and it includes Roman and Greek characters. The Ranganathan identified 5 fundamental categories referred to as PMEST. P is a personality, the focal or most specific subject, and M is material or matter, a component. And maybe it also can be used as a physical characteristics. And E, energy, an activity, operation, or process. S, a space, a specific or generic place or location. And T as time, a chronological period, year, or a section, or season, etc. Let's take a look at the example that I used, the characteristics of classification file. This is an example of colon classification, which we already looked at when we discussed about characteristics of classification. So if we classify this title, eradication of virus in rice plants in Vietnam, then you have to analyze the title with the notation. in um, in the column classification classes. J is the agriculture, so which is basic facet, and then the rise can be a personality facet, and then as you can see, there is like a facet indicator as comma or semicolon or colon or periods, so apostrophe such as. So you can just follow the rules, and it's actually easy to use if you have the tables in it, right? So try to read this, and I think you can understand this. So the as you noticed, using CC, it is extremely mixed and complex, and also it combines Arabic numerals, and also the capital and lowercase letters, and some Greek letters are also bracket, and certain punctuation marks. And also when you're formulating a class number, you need to use certain punctuation marks are used as facet indicators to show the nature of the element being presented. So, like for example, the comma is connecting symbols for personality facet. Like a semicolon is the connecting symbol for one matter facet, etc. So it's although it's innovative and very hospitable because it's flexible, and also it you can revise, and also you can make adaptable to your organization. But it's very complex. It's very complex, and it also you cannot use for like shelving books. But it's also applicable to the like online, the systems for the web, because it doesn't need to have like a physical arrangement of the directions with this. Okay. AAT is a specialized controlled vocabulary used to describe subject of object within museums. It also provides codes that can be used as a faceted classification structure. So it's actually created by many people through Getty program, and currently used by archivists and also the librarians, museum curators, or indexing services, and also architectural design forms and art dictionaries and encyclopedias for. And it also used for physical description of museum objects, slides, photos, archiving materials, and the subject cataloging and keyword indexing of books, images, and periodical literature, and also currently used by database searching by scholars, researchers, students, practitioners, and librarians. The schedule is available online, and the thesaurus in an index, and the notation is mixed, and each descriptor has unique notation code. AAT has a specific subject area, so it has a potential wide acceptance, and also because its area is very specific, in a way it's good, and the other way it needs to be more wide acceptance of area. Um, and also it's for not designed for shelving, so it's good for web web the materials for digital, and I think you already visited this website when you studied about controlled vocabulary. Okay, anyway, try to visit this website. When you need to choose a scheme, try to find out what scheme is used in information settings with similar problems, and decide whether to adapt, or develop a new scheme. If you need to develop a new scheme, you need to consult the subject area specialist and authorities, sources, including people or reference materials. Try to consider relative advantage of major classification approaches. It isn't easy to make a new classification scheme for a new collection of organization. Try to classify an item which can be placed an item where it will be most useful. Yeah, sometimes you need to think about where to classify is better. If the same way of a subject area, like 2 or 3, but try to place an item where it will be most useful. And generally, you need to classify subject, and then go by form, and then again classify under the dominant first, and then general most closely. So when document is about more than 3 divisions of a subject, you need to place under general headings that covers them all. Okay, and also place an item in the most specific class available if it's possible. Okay, I think this is it for this lecture slide. Thanks for listening.